My dear Bagginses and Boffins, Dukes and Brandy Bugs, Rubs, Jobs, Woodenblowers, Folgers, Grey Scarlows, Brownfoots.
All right, today we are talking about how Gandalf can appear in Amazon's Lord of the Rings TV show, kind of, but it can't be Ian McKellen. And I had to talk about this one because I was like, why not? That's silly. Let him play it. He's been doing it for so long now that
he's a knight, for God's sake.
Yeah, you're gonna tell Sir Ian McKellen he can't play Gandalf? No, screw you. Ian McKellen can. But then I read the article and I was like, oh, okay, some good points. Maybe my anger was misplaced. So yeah, we've actually done a video about how Gandalf cannot be in the Lord of the Rings TV show. I guess we need to update this a little bit because depending on the time period they go, obviously, Gandalf could eventually have some aspect of him could be a part of it, but it does depend on the exact age in which the film gets to, as well as the location. So this article points out that prior to being Gandalf, he was known as Aloran, which were these spirits that sort of stayed amongst the elves and didn't really do too much in terms of impacting the direction of Middle Earth or any of this stuff. And it wasn't until they were sent there that they had to take on a more human, a little more human appearance in order to not just blend in, but also be accepted and respected amongst the human kings that they were going to have to talk to and convince to fight an evil Dark Lord.
Yeah, the kind of guy that you wouldn't part from their walking stick.
Exactly. That's why you need them to be old and bearded so that they're wise. Like, they're not going to hurt you. They're these old men, for crying out loud. What can they do? Yeah. So that is why this article is claiming that Ian McKellen, who is an older gentleman himself, couldn't play Gandalf, at least not visually. Although I still think that maybe one way to get around this is you film it in such a way that you never actually see his face, because that's also part of it. As the article points out, that Tolkien was deliberately vague about the appearance, and so all we know is that these spirits could kind of look like elves, or at least look like elves enough that they could blend in with the elves and sort of walk amongst them, be a part of them, but not be too involved. And so I think you could do it in a way where Ian McKellen is still kind of voicing the character and almost even still playing the character if you dressed him up properly, but you just don't show the face. And I actually think that'd be kind of cool, and that would work for me. I know some people are gonna hate that. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I don't even, like he would be like a floating orb or something.
Well, okay, so if you're right, if it's a floating orb, it's kind of funny and it's kind of silly. I think there's still ways to make that work, but no, I was actually thinking he'd be more like he would if they have a city of elves that they're filming in or something, and you could have a scene or two of an elf who is being played by Ian McKellen, but you never see their face, and so we the audience. That'd be some dramatic irony. We, the audience, know that that's Ian McKellen. That is Gandalf. Well, who will become Gandalf. But the characters in the show don't know, and that's just that's like a little nugget for the audience. I think that would work for me.
Yep.
I know not everyone is as convinced by that, and some people would think it's a little bit hokey, maybe a little bit cheesy.
Yeah, I just wonder what they could do with the character.
Yeah, that too, right? Like, is there even a point to bring him in, or is it just to be like, ha, look, Gandalf? Like, and does that matter? Like, is that even worth it for some people? I'll say I hate when that happens.
If you bring him to Middle Earth early, would that upset the canon.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you can't do that.
Mhm.
Because especially if he's actually doing stuff. So so maybe we can have him visit Middle Earth early and just not do anything. But if he does stuff, that would upset the canon a bit. But that's my whole thing is like is it worth it? Like, do you even want a little nugget like that to be thrown in for the audience, or is that like, no, just don't even include Gandalf if he's not gonna be a part of it? I kind of like the Easter egg for those of us who know
Mhm.
Ian McKellen's voice enough to know that this off-screen voice is Gandalf. I'm okay with that. But I also understand that some people are like, look, if Gandalf's not even a part of these like, if he's not a part of the overall show's like main scope, then don't bring him up because it's just gonna kind of get all like, people are gonna be like, oh, we want more Gandalf. And it's like, he's not a part of this. Like, so I can kind of see people not wanting him in it if he's not actually doing something, but I would kind of like the Easter egg. I really do hope there are Easter eggs. Like maybe we see certain characters that just mention, like, obviously I didn't like this in The Hobbit, and I don't know why I didn't like it in The Hobbit, but when you've got Legolas talking to Gimli's father, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why, it just bugs me, and I think it's because it doesn't make sense. It kind of ruins Legolas and Gimli meeting afterwards, because Legolas, he's not forgetful. Like, he should remember that conversation. Like, I don't know. It just, to me, I didn't like that. But I think if you could do it right, I think I would like an Easter egg of Gandalf or of something like that in the Amazon show. But it has to be done tastefully and in keeping with what we know the characters will ultimately end up doing.
Mhm.
Like, you can't have weird things where like characters are like telling characters to do things that they end up doing, because then you like rewrite the fantasy lore about why things came to be. Like, if Gandalf is secretly like whispering things to like all these other characters, it's gonna make a huge mess, and people are gonna be so upset. And the Tolkien estate's not gonna let them do that, because they actually do have some. I don't know how much, but they do have some control over how much of the lore is used, and they do have people there to make them stay on track. So I don't think we will have any of those issues, but I I think you can have an Easter egg where we happen to know it's Gandalf, even if he's just like, not, someone's offering him wine or something at like some elven festival and he's saying
Yeah,
no.
you can have a filler episode of Tom Bombadil goes visits Gandalf in the Undying Lands or something.
I was thinking, okay. I don't know if that's a joke or not. You're gonna completely divide the fan base on that one. I was thinking, maybe you're gonna hate this too. I was thinking that it would be something like he's at like there's like a big celebration in like an elven city, and someone offers this faceless character some wine, and he says like, just tea, thank you, or something.
Oh, that'd be okay. Yeah,
So
yeah,
then we know, not only from the quote but from the voice, who that is, and that's it.
yeah.
Now, some people are gonna hate that. I think that'd be kind of nice. Some people are gonna hate that. So, to each their own. To me, if it's something like that, or even if he is like talking to these people a little bit more, that's okay, as long as it doesn't upset the overall lore. But I kind of like those. I think I would kind of like those Easter eggs if they were done like that. But um, yeah, I can understand people sometimes don't like those aspects, because it does take you out slightly. It does bring you out of it and be like, oh, that's an Easter egg. This is a movie where this is Ian McKellen playing Gandalf, but he's not playing Gandalf. He's playing a character that will become Gandalf, but he can't play. Like, it makes you think like that, and it takes you completely out for a second. I get that. So, um, So yeah, I understand that mentality, but I wouldn't mind it. And but like I said, I hated the one in the Hobbit, or all the ones in the Hobbit, to be honest. So maybe if I see it on screen, I will be I will completely change my opinion and be like, no, I was wrong. This is terrible. No, it completely takes me out. Gandalf shouldn't be here. What's going on? Yeah, maybe that will happen. But yeah, I don't know. I It's kind of weird then. Like, why even bring Gandalf into the movie if it's not going to be Ian McKellen? Because he doesn't do anything. Like in the unless you're actually going to have something happen to him. Yeah, I think that's all I've got to say on that one. You got any final thoughts on a Gandalf appearance or an Ian McKellen appearance? What if Ian McKellen like played a different character? Would that be weird?
Yes, it would be really weird.
So Ian McKellen can't be in this, is what we're saying. Like literally, there's only one. Okay, there's a handful of people on planet Earth right now that cannot be in this show. Is what you're saying. We can't have Elijah Wood. We can't have Sean Astin. We can't have Vigo. We can't have.
We can't have the people we want. Yes.
Yeah. That's what you're telling me. We can't have any of these cameos. We can have a Peter Jackson cameo, but we can't
of course.
we can't have any cameos. Okay, that makes me sad, but I agree. I think yeah, cameos can be done, but they can't be done with famous people like that. It's similar to for me, it's similar to the Marvel cameos sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're a little bit too much for me. But anyway, I think that's a bit of a different scope, and that maybe is a different video all on its own. But I think that's it for this one. So let us know what you guys think. Should Gandalf appear? Do you even care if Gandalf appears? Does that make a difference one way or the other? And what are your thoughts on Ian McKellen doing anything on the project? Leave it in the comments below and subscribe.
I regret to announce this is the end. I bid you all a very fond farewell.